Well, hello, people who aren't there in internet land because you're watching Game of Thrones instead of Twitch. But I am sculpting anyway, regardless of the Game of Thrones. So it'll probably just be me by myself while I sculpt tonight. Wednesday tutorial and animation. I'm not doing tutorial and animation today. Today is sculpting. Did I mess up? Possible. If I can head over here and fix that. Why not, right? It's just me. It's just me right now. See if I can edit that. There we go. Now I'm sculpting. And maybe in a half hour or so people come join in. Start sculpting. What I think sucks is I can't hear the music playing. It's kind of disappointing. What? I have a viewer? That's awesome. Like me, not watching Game of Thrones tonight. I can make this leg look a little more like a leg. Not just a bunch of lumps of clay. Oh, I had 2 viewers for a second. I guess I just started talking a little too late to capture the attention of potential viewers. Ooh, I got a second viewer. Somebody else not watching Game of Thrones tonight, huh? I decided I'm not going to watch Game of Thrones just now. I'm going to let it build up a few episodes and then just kind of binge watch it. So, figure I'll work on my anatomy study. Sculpting, I'm a kind of an amateur sculptor. This is kind of like, I want to do something really cool, but I think I need to learn a few things first. So I'm gonna build this out. I think one half will be, it's all going to be muscle, and the other half will just be skeletal. So this is kind of an adventure in sculpting. Trying to get a good camera angle here. Erg. Get this. Or maybe if I set this up on a box. Oh no, HBO is not included in the package. Yeah, I know how that is. All right. There we go. White balance, focus, focus. we go. It's a little bit better, I think. Yeah, so I've done a few sculptures, like a couple. You know, I'm no professional like some of the people here. And, I want to do something interesting. I want to do something kind of big and dynamic. And as I started to work on it, I was like, I need to learn anatomy. So yeah, I got in. I got a book, a few books, and got the internet right up there. I've got a reference and trying to figure this thing out, see how it goes, and then it will be my. I think once you learn how everything works, how the muscles work, and how it pulls the joints, you'll get an understanding. And then when you pose a character, you'll be able to pose them better, and it'll look more realistic. And you know, I don't know. I have a background in art. I animate for a living, making video games. So this is kind of a hobby of mine. Oh, thank you. By the way, if you want to see more of this, I also do animation on Wednesdays. Just go ahead and hit that follow button, and you can check me out and what I do. I'm also excited to see when people follow me because I just animated a new follow icon. I'm just curious if it works or not because I haven't had a chance to test it. I made it last night. Hold on here. Oh yeah, and that's cool. I know one of my guys I work with is on Discord. I need to get my Discord set up so I can have better chats. But yeah, do animation, sculpting, illustrating, and I don't know, tonight's sculpting night. Do some sculpture. I feel like this is nice. This is yeah. Erg. It's hard to get good camera angles, I think. I think I might be close to becoming an affiliate with, affiliate with Twitch, which will be cool because it'll open up like a subscribe button and all sorts of other features that just casual streamers don't have. That'll be fun. I want to do some competitions and stuff. I was gonna run something by people who are interested in building 3D models in the computer of characters. Maybe do a character contest. If you do a cool character, I'll rig it and put animation on it. Some motion capture and hand it back. Thought that might be kind of cool. But yes, thank you for following and tuning in. think I'm getting the back of this leg quite right. I think I'm missing a muscle or something. Not quite sure. Ooh, I need more reference. Need more reference. So this kind of comes down in this way, and the glute looks good. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should move on to something else while I figure this out. I think I'm missing a muscle that attaches down here somewhere and like comes up into this area. Yeah, it looks like there's a big muscle there. Might be missing part of the hamstrings. Have to research that. I don't know. Maybe I'll move over to the abdomen. See where that takes me. There we go. I'll see. Get some clay here. A whole box of clay that I mixed up. And let's see. So I have my own mixture of clay. I've been mixing Sculpting Firm with Sculpting Medium. As I think medium's way too soft. It's actually way softer than like Super Sculpey, which is. So I got a little Super Sculpey head here that I did. I really like the Super Sculpey. It has a really good feel to it, good texture. But I decided to go with something a little bit different on this one. I figure I'd just go with something gray. So as much as I love this little spine that I kind of put in there, I think I'm going to cover that up and kind of get the basis for his innards, or her. This could be her innards. Guess I really wasn't thinking about gender when I started this, just thinking about bones. Set this down. Tell you that the most difficult thing about sculpting on a live stream like this is trying to figure out how to get the camera to see what I'm seeing. So I'm going to make you motion sick as I try to figure this out. Part of me is like, there's this guy who sculpts here, and he has one of those harmonica things that you put around your neck to play the harmonica while you know, if you're like playing guitar or whatever, need your hands free. And he has his webcam hooked up to one of those, and I thought, wow, that's really clever. Part of me is like, I should do that, but part of me is like, I don't want to copy something somebody else has done. Although they say imitation is the highest form of flattery. So, I'm sure the guy probably wouldn't care, but I care. So I figure I'll just kind of get a block out of the guts. Block out the guts. Let's lower this camera. There we go. I don't really want to make the intestines, but not really interested in modeling out his kidneys or his actual large intestines or anything. But I figured just basic shape, something that's in here so that when I start laying muscle on top of it, it has something to sit on. Try to get this to go down the center of his axis. Oh man, I'm up to 4 viewers. This is amazing. I kind of figure nobody will be watching Twitch tonight. So welcome all of you. Sometimes I get really I start concentrating so hard on this I fail to see who's all there. Welcome nonetheless. You're right, it's probably over right now. Yeah, like I said, I figure I'm going to let a few episodes pass before I start watching Game of Thrones and then just kind of binge watch several episodes. Because there's nothing worse than that cliffhanger. You're like, what? What happened? So, no spoilers. Except, so I'm sure somebody died who was probably important. Oh man, 5 viewers. That's awesome. Welcome, everybody. Erg. Welcome to my stream, where I am sculpting tonight. And if you guys have not, and gals have not yet hit that follow button, hit that follow button. Actually, if you haven't followed, if you have followed, unfollow, then re-hit it. I'm kind of curious to see if I did some little animated GIFs. Kind of can't wait to see them work. Will that happen if you unfollow and refollow? Will it replay those little animated GIFs? No idea. Oh, back down to 4 viewers. So have you all had a good weekend? I know this is coming here to the end of the Sunday, and got to go to work on Monday. I know my weekend was full of doing things. It felt like we had a huge storm kind of Friday night, late Friday night, and it kind of spilled over into Saturday, and it was a huge storm Saturday. And apparently tornadoes not too far away from here, I believe, tore up a bunch of houses and buildings. I think there was a school. Luckily nobody was in the school because it's Saturday, right? But I think there was 2 or 3 fatalities that had happened from that storm, so it's very, very tragic. I feel really bad for those families. Apparently there were Yikes! Yeah, there was a tree had the tornado picked up a tree and threw the tree, and a huge tree, not like a little sapling. It landed on the back seat of a car. It was like a sedan type of car. Killed the two children in the back, and parents survived, and it's just a horribly tragic story. And it's got to be, oh man, it's got to be horrible. I can't imagine losing a child. But that's that's sad and depressing. Let's not be sad and depressing tonight. Let's be happy. Oh, can't even see what I'm doing. Here we go. Sorry. If you can't see what I'm doing, yell, "Hey!" Just that camera angle, I can't see what you're doing. Or focus, it's blurry. And got a manual focus on this thing, so which is kind of nice. I like the manual focus on this camera, even though I have to, it's kind of annoying to have to adjust it every so often. I like it because it's not constantly going in and out of focus as I work. Yes, definitely hug the ones you love. It made me feel much more appreciative of the time I have with my kid. So I'm just kind of building this up a little bit at a time. Little dollops of clay. Part of me is like, maybe I should have got a piece of aluminum foil and rolled it up real tight and stuck it in there. And started, forming the clay around it, but then I decided against it. So has anybody here caught my Wednesday tutorials, where I do tutorials in motion capture and motion editing and animation for games and stuff? Maybe not. I guess it's kind of a niche thing, animating and doing motion capture. It's kind of it's a very small group who would be interested in it. Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope it's cool. I try to be informative. And there's not a lot out there about how to do this stuff without actually spending money and going to a school or getting into a job that's willing to train you. I was fortunate enough to work at 3D Realms way back in the day on Duke Nukem Forever, and we're like, we got to get this game done. How are we going to do it? Well, motion capture was the solution to that. So we bought a mocap studio, and I was fortunate enough to be trained on the job. And that was awesome. And it's led me into the career I have today, doing a lot of motion editing and what have you. I'll probably retell all my stories over and over again. At some point, 5 years from now, if I'm fortunate enough to still be streaming and people watching, they'll be like, man, that guy told that story 500 times. Know it by heart. But yeah. Very, very lucky. Yeah, I make games. I make video games for those of you who are new to me in the stream. and I figure there's not a lot of information out there in the world of Motionbuilder and motion editing and how to do motion capture and what have you. So I decided, and I've had a few people go, "Hey, you should really do those tutorials and stuff. Put it out there because there's really not much out there." So I did. I kind of decided to go for it. See what kind of response I get. It's kind of like I was saying, it's kind of a niche thing. I mean, I think a lot of people are interested in it, but they may never really get a chance to do it. But if they do, at least they have a resource. Or if there is somebody out there and they're getting into it, they can do a search on YouTube or whatever, Google, and maybe come across some of my tutorials and help them out. Oh man, I got 6 people in my channel now. That's awesome. Welcome everybody to my anatomy study of Mr. Skeleton here, who at some point will be, you know, there you go. Got distracted over here. Yeah, my goal is to have one half of this muscle and the other half, you know, bone, skeleton. And I'm learning. I'm new at this, so seeing where it takes me. I've worked with a lot of artists over the years, and I've trained a lot of artists over the years. And there is a certain mentality that some people have where they freeze and they lock up and they can't function. It's like the stress is too much for them. And then there's other people who just get in and they just do it. And because I'd worked with so many of these type of people, I put myself through college illustrating. Because I worked with so many of these different types of people, the type who just get in there and they just do it and they excel at it, then people who are like super nervous and scared, they fail miserably. And then there's a few who are scared and eventually they build up the courage and the nerve and they succeed. But that when I left that job and I got hired at DNA Productions on the Jimmy Neutron TV series, I got to work on the first season of that as a storyboard artist. I got in there and I got a hold of all the characters, Jimmy and Cindy and Sheen and Carl and you know, all the different characters from that series. And I didn't, there was no, what am I doing? It was more like, I'm just going to do it. I jumped in there and the directors were like kind of taken back because they're so used to an artist coming in and spending like a couple of weeks learning how to draw the characters and stressing out about, you know, what they were doing and how they were doing it and how were they framing their shots and how were they setting their camera angles, that to have somebody come in and just hit the ground running. And to me, it was like no big deal. I was just kind of like, this is what I do. I did this for 10 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day, you know, 5 days a week, sometimes more, for years. I just didn't think anything of it to just get in there and do the work. And my style of illustrating was, you know, different than everybody else's. I mean, we all kind of have a different style there in the art room, doing storyboards and stuff. And you know, we each had our own style, and John Davis, who's the DNA was owned by John Davis and Keith Alcorn. Davis Alcorn DNA. That's how they got the name. Got distracted. Dog's getting called. We have a very naughty dog who's become super territorial these last 2 days. Our dog is just he's just guarding his territory, guarding his humans. It's kind of frustrating. Ooh, that looks good. Is that a sticker? Can I see that? Oh, this is cool. Let's see this. House Art Studio. So this is a vinyl sticker? Yeah. 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 So this you can like stick this on a car or something? That's cool. Oh, I think it looks good. What do you guys think? Brewhouse Art Studio sticker. It's right up there next to that. Nice. What kind of dog? Luna. Lupin. There we go. This is gotta go this way. This way. There we go. Yeah, this is Lupin. He is a Chihuahua Pappy and Dotson mix. Call him Lupin after Professor Lupin from Harry Potter, but to me he looks like Dobby. It's like, I'm a good house elf. Dobby loves Harry Potter. Then we got Luna down here. They're believe it or not, they're from the same litter. They're brother and sister. She looks like the mom more, and he looks like the dad more. And she is the skittish one, but she's really good, and she gets hair all over everything. So now I probably now have hair in my clay from her just being up here. Yeah, the ears are totally Dobby. All right, you can like take her down. He has one ear a lot of times just sticks out straight like that, and the other is like down like this. That's how he kind of runs around. But yeah. Oh man, I got 7 people watching me now. This is awesome. I guess Game of Thrones absolutely is over now. People are like, what are we gonna do? Let's go to Twitch and see what's going on. So yeah, I think that looks really cool. I might try. It might be nice to see like a reverse of it at some point where it's white on black instead of black on white. I don't know, just be cool to have a couple different variations of it. All right, where were we? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool. Super fine. Maybe I'll have to redesign it just that a little bit, a more friendly decal version of that logo. Man, if you guys haven't hit the follow button, go ahead and hit that follow button and follow me. I'm dying to see if this GIF that I made plays whenever somebody follows. I don't even know if I hooked it up right. I think all my little overlays are not working properly. I must have hit a wrong button somewhere. Right.
PDA, look away.
So yeah, getting late here. Yes, my girlfriend gets up at 4 a.m. to go work at a hospital. So Yes, I wish that once you name a dog, once they grow up, you could rename them. Oh man. So yeah, man, it was storming this weekend. Saturday, I mean, it was just gray. There was a tornado not too far away from here. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, and I looked outside, and my trees were my front yard were practically sideways. I was like, please don't uproot my trees. Can't afford that. Get them fixed, taken away. So there we go. Starting to get that abdomen going there. I'll start putting those muscles in next. So you have there's like a wall that fits all the way around your abdomen that holds all your guts in. And outside of that wall, that's where your muscles are. And it's when you get a little hole in that abdomen, usually like right around here, around the pelvic area. They also have them back in around the lumbar. You get these little holes form. A lot of times weightlifters get them. That's when you get hernias, and the guts will push out through that lining, start to bulge. I think that's good for now. Let's go check out the back side of this skeleton. Keep my guts in. Yes. He was gutless. No, no, bad joke. Now he's got lots of guts. Yes, I am full of bad jokes. It's kind of like when you become a dad, kind of just happens. You just realize, wow, these are a bunch. I think it's from raising kids, because you start telling like little kid jokes and things that are appropriate for them, and they, it just carries on into more inappropriate bad jokes. All right, so I think I like that for now. It's lumpy, but it's okay because we're just gonna be putting muscles over that. Oh, yeah, knock jokes, huh? Oh, my kid, it's the same way. He's got a million knock jokes, and they're all practically the same. I'm trying to think of some of his more annoying ones, like the knock, who's there, orange who, knock, who's there, orange who. And finally get to banana, and you're like, orange who's, no, banana. Wait, is it banana or is it orange? Knock, who's there, banana who? No, orange. No, banana. It's banana, and then it's orange, and it's orange. You glad I didn't say banana? That's what it is. Yep. Young kids love the poop jokes. Oh yeah. All right, let's look at these legs. I'm kind of hankering to kind of get back to these legs. I kind of feel like my calf is not coming along too well. See if I can start getting these muscles. So you kind of have bone exposed, so to speak, over here on this side. And a lot of your muscles are like right here. If I can go back to that other anatomy picture I was looking at. Right there. I wish I could make this bigger. You used to be able to just click on the image and it'd pop up the actual image from the web page, but I don't see those up here anymore. Now it just takes me to the website. So there is a muscle that is right here-ish. Yeah, right there like that. Muscle, muscle, muscle. So my son wanted to learn how to draw dragons, and I don't know how to draw dragons very well. It's not like something I do. Not saying that I couldn't draw a dragon if I grabbed reference and really studied, I don't know, dragon anatomy. But anyway, so I start teaching him, and he wants me to do it for him, you know, because, you know, he's a kid and kids are lazy. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it for you. If I do it for you, then you're not going to ever learn how to do it yourself. And apparently, according to my girlfriend, I have a I have a teaching voice apparently that I get into whenever I'm talking about how things work and how to do things and concept and what have you. I've had a few people comment and be like, it's kind of like watching Bob Ross. I don't think I'm like Bob Ross at all, but there's no mistakes. Just happy little accidents. I was pretty excited when I started watching Twitch and discovered that there's a Bob Ross channel. It's like, oh man, I remember watching these as a kid growing up. And I love watching the chat. Happy little calf muscle, yes. Yes, it's just a happy little calf muscle. Just pushing along. Yeah, Bob Ross. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I love watching the chat because the people in the chat in his channel get so into whatever it is he's painting. They're like, I bet he's going to put the house. I'm 90% sure he's, you know, there's going to be a happy little cabin back there. And then he puts in the cabin and it's like, everybody gets real excited. It's very entertaining. It's interesting that I think he passed away back in, was it the 90s? You know, 1990 something. I'd have to go Google that. But it's interesting that it didn't take much. Just putting him back out there on Twitch opened him back up to a whole new audience. New generation of kids to discover the joy of painting, and old people like me who remember him from back when they were kids, watching him on PBS. Yep, definitely hits nostalgia. Speaking of nostalgia, I was watching an episode of Tested, and they went and visited one of the studios that make the Muppets and all that. It was real fun to see them going in there and making all those puppets, whatever. And but it's really funny because the guy had like the most blatant comb over I've ever seen on anybody. Just, there's only one other person I'd seen a comb over that was more spectacular. That's the right word to use. His hair was really long, and he had wound it up around the top of his head and tied. Should just be like Ron Howard, just wear a hat. Just shave it. Just shave the hair. That's when I lose my hair. That's what I'm gonna do. My girlfriend was teasing me. I think it was this morning, because she's like, your hair is a lot thinner up on top than when we first started dating. All right, let's get that Achilles Tendon. Get some light in here. Try not to blow out the light from the camera. Oh man. So, are you all excited about the new Star Wars movie or whatever? I guess they just released that trailer. I haven't seen it yet, but sounds exciting. Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for the game. Wow, it looks really good. Like, at least the trailer looked really good. Although I am gonna have to bitch and complain about the motion capture in that trailer because the shoulders look horrible, and that is like the bane of a motion editor's existence, is making the shoulders look natural and realistic. And if you guys don't know what I do on Wednesdays I teach motion editing and show how to do stuff. Neck 2, yeah. So when you capture motion, you have to run a neck fix on your character. If you don't, they have this like weird neck, and it's usually kind of bad. And for some reason, some animators just don't catch that problem. For some reason, I don't know why. Need more clay. So you run a neck pass, and then you can keep IK on the head, and you kind of get all that natural motion back. But yeah, they like every time I saw a character like reach their arm up, they're like, yeah. They don't look natural. It's like they forget to animate this clavicle that kind of comes up when your arm raises up. So all their shoulders are like down like this, but their arms are kind of like I'm starting to cramp up just trying to make that pose. But yeah, whenever you like grab it onto something, your shoulder comes up, right? Yeah. I mean, the kinematics of your body as you raise your arm to a certain point, you can't raise it any higher than your shoulder lifts you up the rest of the way. And it seems like a lot of those motion editors miss that. To me, it's infuriating because I'm like, come on, it's an easy fix, guys. It doesn't take that much effort. Let's see. Let's look at the calf muscles. That kind of comes in or out. I feel like I got the calf muscle a little bit backwards, or so to speak. We need a little bit more up here. In fact, when I modeled this guy, I have one clavicle kind of coming across straight and down because it's a little more relaxed, and this one's actually up as he's raising his arm up. So yeah, so I thought about it in my sculpt as well. When you do 3D animation, it's a lot like sculpting. You're posing a character and you're trying to get this really nice shape that works really well for the animation. And it doesn't matter if you're hand keying or doing motion capture. You gotta have strong posing. Let's see. Let's get this calf going into here. yeah, that I kid you not. Has anybody seen what's it called? Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix? Absolutely amazing. Oh my god! It is the first time in a very long time I got as excited about an animated series as I had been when I saw that. First one, yeah, that's the one where I don't want to spoil it for anybody who else hasn't seen it yet, but that's the one with the monster and the girl, and she's they're going to that fighting arena. I don't want to spoil it for people, so I won't say too much about it. But I kid you not, those studios that did those episodes of that anthology, some of the best motion editing I've seen on that animation. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I did not see problems that I normally see in motion editing and when it comes to motion capture and animation. There were some shots that were just, I kid you not, if I didn't know that it was 3D and it just kind of briefly looked at the screen, that split second, I would have thought that it was an actual shot. Not the first episode, but there's so few episodes later that are like that. They try to get as realistic as they can in this sci-fi universe they've created. Yeah, just absolutely fabulous. Has anybody seen Orange is the New Black on Netflix? I only mention that because there's an actress in that series that they digitally reproduced for Love, Death, and Robots. I can't remember the name of the character. She was the black girl who was in the army and she was gay, and I think she got killed in the Orange is the New Black series. That actress is in one of the episodes. She plays a fighter pilot in this sci-fi futuristic military, and just everything about that episode is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Definitely did performance capture, try to get her performance as one-to-one as possible, and they did a fantastic job. And I am envious of all those animators that got to work on that. I'm working on a cool project myself, but I tell you, I've been doing games for a very long time, and sometimes you have this urge to kind of do something a little bit different. I would love to work on something like Love, Death, and Robots. So yes, if any of you have not seen it yet, I highly recommend checking it out if you have a Netflix account. In fact, so if you guys don't know, what I work at a company called Cloud Imperium Games, and we're working on a game called Star Citizen. And I actually brought my animation team in to watch a couple of those episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. But did I just get a follow? Well, thank you. I missed who followed. I was concentrating on. But anyway, yeah, I brought my animation team in to watch a couple of those episodes because it kind of deals with similar stuff that we're dealing with on our game. And yeah. So one of the things I don't like to do is spoil movies. Did the GIF work? I heard the GIF work. I did not see the GIF work. I need a better setup. Oh yeah, I've been following Star Citizen. I won't talk too much about Star Citizen here, just because I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I'll mention. I'll say a few. Any anecdotal things I'll bring up. But yes, I definitely heard Mysterious Gypsy. Yeah, Mysterious Gypsy. I definitely heard it. I'll tell you a bit about my history with Cloud Imperium. So I was working at a company called Lightbox Interactive, and we had just finished a game called Star Citizen. And actually, I think I got a poster right up there on my wall, Star Citizen, signed by the game devs when I finished that game. And unfortunately, like a lot of small developers, when a new generation of consoles come online, and we were getting ready to go to PlayStation 4 and was it Xbox One, and none of the publishers want to put their money into like small developers. They want to put their money, maybe a handful here and there, but they really want to pour their money into a title like Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, heavy hitters that they know they're going to make money on, console sellers, right? So unfortunately, Lightbox went away and couldn't get any funding to continue to make games, and ended up losing my job with everybody else. Just how it works in the gaming industry. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. I was planning on moving away from Austin, and didn't know where maybe I'd go up to Dallas. Maybe I'd go up to, I was talking with Humid Head over in Wisconsin. I was talking with Sledgehammer over in California. A couple other studios. I think it's Volition up in Illinois. And even turned down a job over in Colorado at one point because for various reasons. But didn't know what I was going to do, and I got a call from Eric Peterson, who was working with Chris Roberts at the time, to come down and interview for their game Cloud Imperium, or for the company Cloud Imperium, who's working on Star Citizen, and they pitched me the idea and everything, and I thought it was a really good opportunity. I was the first animator on the project. At the beginning, I was the only animator on the project. We were a small team in a basement, down in Austin near the university, and my mind gets distracted when it gets late at night. It was an opportunity for me to like build a team, build a motion capture stage, do a bunch of things because it's first-person shooter. I'm not really into the whole space simulation. I'm not really a space sim kind of person, but I do love first-person shooters. And I really like the idea of having, what the game was about. It was exciting and scary all at the same time because it's a crowd-funded project. At the time, there was only $6 million, $5 or $6 million when I interviewed. So I was taking a chance, right? Because for all I knew, I could have been out of a job, within a year or less, It did go up a little bit since then. I remember the first year in 2013, I was definitely like paying attention to those numbers, and and just watching it go up and up and up. And at $10 million, we that was our stretch goal for getting a motion capture system. So I did all the research and helped them buy a OptiTrack system. And there's a video of me out there somewhere. I'm sure you can YouTube it. Do a search. We went to OptiTrack and we ended up getting an OptiTrack system. And that system has now been around the world at our other studios, and it's back in Austin now, where we get to use it with my team, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, we are in Guinness Book of World Records, the company is anyway, for the most successful crowd-funded project of all time, I believe. And there's something else. There's a couple other things that we got into Guinness for. I think I can't remember what they were, but we've had it since because they have to keep changing the number every time they reissue the book, because we've have a few million more dollars in the bank. But yeah, it's an exciting project, and I'm super thankful for all the backers, because without you guys, I wouldn't have a job, or at least I wouldn't have this job, and I probably wouldn't be here right now doing this. Also probably wouldn't be able to talk about whatever it is that I'm working on because in the game industry it's super secret, and CIG is a little more front-facing. But anyways, I have a disclaimer down on my page, by the way. It says all my views are mine, and mine solely, and do not reflect Cloud Imperium Games or Robert Space Industries or any of that stuff. So back to the inside of this leg. I'm trying to figure out muscles in here and how they need to be built. I feel like the back of this leg is really flat. Like there needs to be more mass back here. I think there's a muscle that comes down this way, and I think there's another muscle that lays on top of that. So bars in the way. If you guys can't see, just be like, dude, we can't see what you're doing. Change the camera angle. Focus. Focus. Well, thank you for joining me. It's Pazdur, right? P-A-Z-T-O-R, Pazdur. Am I saying that right? Well, yeah, thanks for joining in. I appreciate talking with you. And you can always watch this video later. It's on YouTube. I usually upload my videos right when I'm done. That way they live forever. I think Twitch holds things for like 14 days, if I'm not mistaken. Cool, see you later, dude. I feel like that's getting a little bit better. Erg. So this is why I'm doing an anatomy study. I'm struggling with the shapes. Before I do something nice, might as well do some schoolwork. Oh, the muscles in the feet. I wonder if I should have set him down on this platform. I kind of left these the armature kind of like sticking out of the bottom of the feet because my thought process was I could make a little platform for him to stand on, like just kind of like fit him down onto it as I do whatever I do, bake him or whatever. Alright, let's see if I can figure out the inside of this muscle here, this inside of this leg. Another diagram right here I can look at. I don't know, maybe I made my reference up here too small. I don't know if you guys out there in internet land are interested in the reference I use, but I figure I'd throw it up here so you guys can see what I'm doing and what I'm looking at. I like to look at, if it's an illustration, I like it to be something that I feel is a medically accurate illustration, or not a cartoon per se, something that is a little more realistic. Probably not a girl in tights, which is what this is. I guess these are like muscle tights that you can buy. Kind of cool. But I prefer something a little more medically accurate. I'd prefer something that is, without actually looking at a real cadaver, something a little more real. Don't know if I really care to look at an actual cadaver. I know they do that in a lot of art schools. They'll take the kids to look at that stuff. And I don't know, it's just, I can see the value in it. It's just hard for me to bring myself to deal with dead bodies. It's kind of a taboo thing, right? But necessary taboo thing. Focus. There we go. So how does the inside of that leg work? So we've got this, which is coming up that way. And then there's another big muscle that's just like right here, it looks like. So I think I need to pull this out, and I think I need to stick another muscle in there that I must have missed. So as I build this, I was actually trying to build this from the inside out. So I was trying to lay the muscles in a way that they actually work inside the body. Play here. Man, I got 7 people watching me. That's awesome. Thank you all so much for letting me bore you to tears. There we go. Get that muscle. A little bit more clay up there. Maybe one day when I'm a big streamer, I can have 100 people watching me. That'd be cool. I'd like to show a lot of people what I do, because maybe it'd help them out. As when I decided I was going to start sculpting, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to sculpt. I'm just going to try this sculpting thing. I went out and there I started watching animators and modelers, and just trying to find people who do what I do. I found some people who do some sculpting, and they had some really good tutorials. Just kind of went from there. It's getting there, slowly but surely. See where we at. I like to, whenever I work, I like to take whatever I'm working on. I like to like step back and I like to look at it from a distance as a kind of a whole to see how it's coming along. Because sometimes you get so focused in on just one little area that when you pull back, you realize, oh wait, that doesn't work with everything else. Just kind of need to see it as a whole. I'm always like, man, I can't wait to get on to the next sculpt. Hurry up and get done with this so I can move on, move on to the next. Well, I'll tell you, whatever I do next, it's not going to be at this scale. I think I'm going to do a bigger scale sculpture because, man, it is tough working at the small, fine detail level. Let's see, got me a fun little rubber-tipped sculpting tool. It's kind of like having a little finger get in there and push things around. So I've discovered I have to be careful working this clay because it starts off really firm when it's cold and just been sitting here for a week or whatever, and then as I work with it, it gets very pliable, very soft, almost to the point where it's more difficult to work with. So I've learned to kind of like step back and move on to another part a little bit. It's getting there. Yeah, it's getting there. It's not quite there yet. Gotta figure out the back of this leg, how that works. Oh, sorry. Had the bar in the way. That little gap there. Can't wait to start adding muscles in to the back. I tell you, when you put in a lot of detail, it's like sometimes it's tough to add something on top of it that's going to cover it up. Just kind of have to go for it. All right, so what should I do next? Let's see. So I have this book here. I bought this book because it's apparently a really good book for people just getting into sculpting. It's modeling the figure in clay. It's a pretty good book, I think. It's kind of a step-by-step process on what to do first. I wish the images were a little bit better and there's better detail on just kind of how to get started, but not too bad. And they do the same thing in this book. They start with the skeleton and they kind of like work their way out. Man, I feel like I twisted this guy a little bit. There we go. It's a bit better. All right. Focus, focus. There we go. All right. So it looks like he kind of goes with the back. Looks like there's a muscle that kind of hits right here. It kind of comes up. I guess there's a muscle that kind of goes around the scapula, which is the shoulder blade. So I'll do that. Connect it right down here. Tear that off. And start blending that in. Fill in those gaps a little bit. Maybe I didn't put enough material back in there. Whenever I animate at work, I believe in experimenting. I like to experiment, see how something works out, and if it doesn't work out, it's no big deal. Just try a different way. Trying to bring that kind of thinking here with what I'm doing, and if something doesn't quite work out, I'll just try a different way. Oh, you can't see because of that bar. See if I can get a little bit better angle. So this muscle kind of comes up and kind of wraps around here. Be interesting once I have to cut this guy away from this armature. I wonder what the best way to do. I guess if I come in with something to cut it from this side, it's going to stay skeleton. That would be good. All right, so then it comes there, and then there's some muscle that kind of. It's like it kind of comes up, tucks into here, and you got the shoulder muscle, you got the delts. Pull that camera up a little bit. So yeah, you got muscle that kind of comes around the scapula, the delts. You got the traps that kind of come up. It's It's one thing to kind of like sculpt the muscles as a whole, and it's another to just try to figure out how they all work together, how they all work with the skeleton. Different muscles pulling in different ways. So I believe there's a thin muscle that goes across here like so. Should probably look that up, huh? I wonder if there's some good anatomy of the upper body I can find without having to wheel around and type something in. Yeah, I planned on doing most of my work on legs tonight, so that's what I typed in for my search. Step 1. Oh, here we go. This is some good stuff. It's nice. There we go. Let's try that. See how that works out. So I guess this kind of wraps around here and kind of connects. I don't know. If somebody knows anatomy better than I do, feel free to shout out what I'm doing wrong. So you're doing it wrong. So yeah, there we go. Kind of comes up. I think there's a little bit more muscle mass there. Just a hair, a hint. Now you got these big muscles that run up and down the spine, like on the inside. I guess I should put like a little thing of muscle there. These are going to attach to. It's getting there. Gotta make this a little more defined. It's the way these muscles connect. Slide over each other. There's a lot of muscles that slide on top of other muscles. went to the bookstore this weekend and I found a book. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's Hung, Drawn, and Quartered, and it's a book on the history of execution around the world, all the different cultures. Morbid and fascinating all at the same time. I actually wandered around the store pondering should I get the book or not. Decided to do it. It's always kind of a fascination, just this really dark part of human nature of executing, people. But it's I don't know. It's mixed feelings. It's just really, really horrific. And then I'll read whatever it is that the person did that got executed. They got executed for this medieval brutal way, and I'm like, okay, I guess that their crime was just as horrible as how they're being punished, I guess. But some funny, interesting facts, like you always watch in the movies, the executioner, he's got the big axe and hood, big professional executioner, and then the victim, is compliant, and they, willingly lay their head on the chopping block, and apparently nothing could be further from the truth. Apparently the prisoners did not want to have their heads cut off. They would fight and struggle, and they had to have people hold them down. It's just horrific to think about. And nobody wanted to be the executioner, so they would find somebody who is a vagrant or another criminal that they've decided, hey, you're going to be the executioner today. And then they get them drunk, and then they hand them almost a one-handed hatchet instead of like the big axes that you think about. And there's a story of I forget which queen. Apparently she didn't want to be executed. She's like, I'm out of here. And they put her up to the gallows. She ran. They had to go chase her down. She was not going down without a fight. But there are a few stories of like noblemen who and one queen. Oh shoot! I guess I should bring the book in because I can't remember which one. There's so many nobles who are executed in this way that I can't think of them all. But they wanted to go dignified, so they were more of the classic, walked up. In fact, one of the queens, she I want to say it was Elizabeth I. I think I could be wrong. I'm probably completely wrong. She actually ordered dress rehearsals of the execution before her execution, and they brought a chopping block to where they were holding her in the tower, and it's supposed to. And she demanded, because she's a queen, she was a queen, for it to be a private affair, not a public spectacle. And she ordered dress rehearsals, and she wanted to be dignified. I thought that was interesting. And that was just that. Anyways, that's probably a gruesome subject. I should probably get off of public executions. Medieval public executions. Let's think about something a little bit happier than that, right? Like, I don't know. I have these rose bushes out back that are blooming. Oh, I know it. So we went out to mow the lawn today, and last year, the tree that I have out front, it's a young tree, but it was the first year that it actually started dropping acorns. And as we went out to go mow the lawn, we saw that looked like a weed growing up out of the lawn, but it turned out a upon further investigation to be a little acorn that had sprouted and started growing into a little itty bitty tree. So we carefully transplanted that tree that was going to get run over by the lawnmower, and we put it into a pot of soil, and we're gonna see how it goes. Well, can we grow a tree? Will it survive? And if it does survive, can we plant it in the yard somewhere? Free tree. Who knows? Maybe in 80 years it'll be a big tree. Thought that was interesting. I've seen acorns sprout like on Discovery Channel and what have you, but I've never actually seen one like up close and see how the acorn splits apart, the sprouts move, grow out. Part of it grows down into the earth to form the roots, and the other part comes up to make the sapling. I thought that was pretty interesting. So this muscle helps attach to the back of the head, back of the skull. And his head is kind of twisted and turned, so back of his skull will be kind of up over in this area. Put a little more mass right there. I'll tell you, my neck starts hurting after a while doing this stuff. By the way, if anybody here is interested in learning how to sculpt or starting to sculpt, if you go to my shop page down below, I have some Amazon links that you can click on to go and take you to the types of sculpting and tools that I use. I'm going to slowly be, fleshing that out with more stuff that I use. And, you can start sculpting on your own. Maybe we can sculpt together, share ideas, techniques, how we do what we do. Alright, so muscle is the trap, so it might up here like this. And flatten that out. Bit. I probably need to put the delts on there first. Delts are the shoulder muscles. By the way, if you can't see what I'm sculpting, feel free to yell at me and be like, I can't see what you're doing there. Put the camera in a better location. Focus. Focus. Sometimes I get very caught up in what I'm doing and I stop paying attention to things. So the delts. I think I actually need to put according to this book, I think I need to put the triceps on first, which are the muscles on the back of the arm. I guess that makes sense because they actually fit underneath the delts. So his arm's coming down this way, which means the traps would go, or the triceps would go here. Yeah, starting to get some shapes there. I wonder if I need to put the biceps on before I put the delts on. Biceps being the two muscles that are front of the arm. Now I have another book over here which is really good called Strength Training Anatomy. This is really good reference for looking at muscles. They show exercises, and the exercise, they highlight really nicely what muscles are being used in those exercises. So it helps you understand what's being worked. So if I can find a good reference of what that might be. That's such a small. Oh, here we go. This is a. Yeah, here we go. Here's a good reference image. I don't know if you probably can't see it too well, but it's just really good. Where is it? It shows his arm coming up. See how the muscles are folding. You can see which muscles are being activated to lift the arm. Very similar to this right here. So let me see if I can set this down. Work on this from a white balance. There we go. It was very yellow. All right, let's see if I can figure this out. What should I call this guy? Should give him a name. Call him McCoy. You know, Bones. Get it? Star Trek. Tell you what, I'll let you all name this skeleton dude, this anatomy dude. That's what we'll call him. Biceps attached to the upper arm here somewhere, and then go all the way down and attach to the lower arm, so that when they flex, that's how you bend your arm. Put a little more material up there. Can't talk. A little more material. That bicep. kind of comes, that muscle kind of comes around there, and then there's another muscle that kind of wraps around this way, like so, which holds those muscles together. So it's not a muscle, I guess it's like a kind of like a ligament or tendon of some sort of binding material. Okay. See, ligaments, that's what holds bone to bone. Tendon is what holds the muscle to bone. What is the name of the fibrous material that wraps around muscles, holds them together? I don't remember. I may not know all the official Latin terms for all the muscles, but I have an idea. I am glad I built an armature for this guy. It would be difficult to sculpt. If I didn't. Not supposed to be a muscle dude, not a huge weightlifter. Don't. Not huge muscles, just, you know, defined muscles. That's probably enough muscle mass for his arm. There we go. Tell ya, I don't know if I'm ready for Monday. Work, I've got to build a bunch of props for a mocap shoot we're doing next week. Yeah, not this week, but next week. Yeah, I have the animation director coming down and lead designer coming down. I just got to get all of our ducks in a row and not fail at all this. And it will be fun and challenging, but a little bit stressful to give them exactly, because I want to give them exactly what they want, what they're looking for. And that is always a challenge. So I want them to be happy. So I got to be cutting up a bunch of PVC pipes, making platforms, and just figuring out math to make all that work. All that math that they said I would need when I grow up, I need to do my job sometimes. And I use that as an example with my kids. Like, see, I had to figure out how many centimeters these pipes need to be in order to achieve the correct metric to game. All right, I think I have a lot of the muscle there. So I got the triceps, the bicep. It's not like super defined, but I believe all the muscles are there that are necessary. There's actually a third muscle right here that comes down, but I can put that in a little bit later. Yeah. I think these kind of come around and tuck underneath that third muscle that comes on top of it. Can't even see what I'm doing. Sorry. Nope, I'm going to put that little muscle there. Happy little muscle. we go. That's looking a little bit better. All right. Getting some muscle. Dogs are groaning. 10:34. It is getting late. But plan on sculpting a bit longer. I need 2 book stands, is what I need. I like being able to look at all my reference. Stay down. Let's see what I got here. Screwdriver. Will it work? Will I be able to hold down the page? Yes. Yes, I can. How does that deltoid connect? So it comes down and it comes down and comes over. This is a really tough pose. Trying to figure this out. This is good. Page 2. There's a page. Did I miss a page? Might have missed a page. There we go. So it looks like it attaches here. It comes up and attaches right there. Like that. Alright. First little strand muscle. Second little strand of muscle. There. Some of these muscles wrap around to the front, so right about there. Get some of that off. There. Just like that. And it attaches down here some way. Interesting how the muscles kind of like weave and wrap around each other. There we go. See it a little bit better. And see how those muscles fit and attach. Still trying to figure out where do those attach to. I think some of them attach right to the collarbone, which is right here. Let's see if I can get that to attach and look correct, or close to being correct. And I think I don't have enough mass. Don't quite have enough mass right here. I think I need a little bit more. There. There we go. Wraps up and over as those muscles wrap around the arm and attach to the various bones. Just like that. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's interesting seeing people pop in and pop out. Excuse me. Makes me wonder what inspired them to click the link to take them to my channel. Probably channel surfing. It's not very pretty, but it's okay. It's okay. Because sculptures are never pretty at first. And now we're back kind of to the, I think we're back to the back. Kind of where we left off with the muscle. Had to put all this other, structure in there before I could fully apply everything that I need to do to make these particular muscles. References very important. It's important to have good reference. So if you don't have good reference, then you are not learning correctly. And art, like anything else, sculpting or drawing or playing an instrument, it's like anything else. It's a lot of it's muscle memory. You're building in muscle memory on how to make whatever it is that you're making, music or sculpting or illustrating or painting. It's all comes down to a lot of it being muscle memory. And you'll get to the point where like you've done something so much that when you go and you sculpt it or draw it or play it, thinking about it. So I have a theory about artists. Oh, really anybody, I think. I think it applies across the board to anybody who puts effort into learning and being good at something. And what that is you have kind of cycles of, you have times when you're struggling and you're just having a hard time making something work. And then you have times where things feel really easy and you're just like, oh man, I'm really in the groove. Everything just seems to be falling into place. And what I've discovered is the times that you're doing really well, you've kind of hit a point in your skill where what you're seeing with your eyes or hearing with your ears is equal to your skill level. But when you're out of the groove, when you're struggling, you're like, these lines aren't working, this music isn't happening. This is when your perception of whatever it is that you're doing has surpassed your skill of actually being able to do it. For example, I like to, back in the day, I used to do a lot of illustration, and that's kind of like how all of the artists read, like the cycle of like, everything's doing really well, and then, oh man, it's so hard. But so what happens is you get better, and you can see the difference in quality on the work that you're working on, and you're able to see the mistakes better that you weren't able to see before because you've developed as a person, as an artist, and eventually you're going to get back into that groove again because your muscle memory and your skill will have improved to that point. So I like being in the groove because I know that it feels good and I'm doing good, and then the times that I struggle, I enjoy it because I know I'm getting better because my eyes are better at recognizing what's good and what's not good. Anyways, that's my opinion. That's what I believe. I believe that falls into pretty much every category. Probably have to resculpt these vertebrae at some point. They'll probably get smushed with me trying to put muscle on one side of them. I'll have to fix them. I wonder if there's a way for me to be able to turn this guy around so that I'm working from this side on his back instead of the whole side. The whole side is quite challenging to get around. get to work tomorrow, I'm going to have to be plugging my ears so I don't hear people talking about Game of Thrones. Because I have not watched it yet. And I will be catching up on it after they get a few episodes into it. That way I can binge watch them. I find some television shows, that's the only way you can watch them, is to binge watch them, because if you don't, you just kind of lose track of what's going on in the story and kind of lose interest. In the story. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Put this over here. Alright, so I got this muscle. This way, it's connecting to the rib cage right there. You got this other muscle that's part of the back. I think I need a little more material. Let's get some clay. Up this way. Like that. But yeah, I think Game of Thrones is one of those I just get lost if I don't binge watch. I think it's because the story, characters, everything's just so complex. There's so much to it. There we go. Put that up there. Let's see here. I should go back to the leg and keep working on that. So difficult. I'm at that downward part of the the flow of work, right? It's like, what? It's so difficult. Let's see here. I think I should start putting like a chest muscle. So here's a useless fact I read in this gruesome book that I bought this weekend. The book is called Hung, Drawn, and Quartered. it's all about the history of execution, so on and so forth, like throughout time, different methods. So the Mongols back in the day, whenever they would win, whatever battle that they were fighting, they had two different types of executions that they would do to the enemy. The common enemy would just be executed, but if you were noble, if you were like the chief of the tribe, you were shown more respect, and it was taboo if you were the head of whatever this tribe is to have your blood spilled on the ground, you know. So they wouldn't behead, or they wouldn't gut or cut, or however they did back in the day. They would literally boil that person alive. And sometimes their whole family too. Boil them all alive. And it can be in oil or water. Sometimes they put you in cold, and they bring it up to a boil and kill you. Take a couple hours to cook. But yeah, it's kind of like they would show them honor by boiling them alive, not spilling any of their blood on the ground. Useless knowledge. Alright, so let's working this out a little bit to get this muscle to be stretched up this way. So the pectoral muscle attaches here-ish, it kind of attaches to the sternum, and it comes up and it attaches right underneath the delt right there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flatten some of this down. Like that. I get that to come up, and I think some of it attaches up here. Is it too quiet? I get quiet sometimes, and I don't realize the volume I'm talking at. Now it's better. Okay, good. One of my goals with my stream is to eventually buy a much nicer microphone, but the good ones are expensive, right? Looking at a couple $100. Then you need a special mixer to like boost the sound. That's like $300 or $400. But yeah, was that an interesting factoid? The Mongols and how they would execute prisoners. All right, so that connects right there. There's probably some more muscle that I need to put in there. Do I only sculpt skeletons? No. What I'm doing is I'm doing an anatomy study. So, gosh, I don't know if I have any sculptures around me right now. Because all I have around me right now are like these little studies I do where, of course, she fell like on the side of her face, so she's kind of flattened out a little bit. But yeah, I'm kind of new at sculpting. Like traditional sculpting like this, I used to do a lot of digital sculpting in the computer, so I kind of have an idea of how things work. But I decided one day, I was just like, I'm just going to sculpt. I'm just going to do it. Bought some Sculpey, bought some tools. Done a couple of sculptures so far, start to finish. Should bring them in sometime so I can have them here. And I figure, hey, you know what? Why not stream this stuff? It is a relaxing hobby. I agree. I think there's something, what's really nice about sculpting is when you're done, you have something you can like hold in your hands. I mean, even if it's an illustration or a painting, I mean, yeah, you can hold a painting in your hand, but there's something about holding an object in your hand that there's something really nice about that. I make video games for a living, so I animate, right? So it's for over a decade now, I do these things in the computer. It's all virtual, digital, and it's like, man, I sure wish I could have something you can actually hold, and no, game discs don't count. VHS tapes don't count. Oh no, I gouged his chin. Fix it. There we go. So yeah, just kind of decided one day to do this, and I did. That being said, I've been illustrating since I was a kid, drawing, what have you, painting. Got into animation, started, got a job in the game industry, never turned back. I could have gone a couple different routes. I could have gone, like, ZBrush came out. At that time, the next gen consoles were the 360 and PlayStation 3, so things were getting more complex in the game industry. Before, if you're in a small studio, it'd be like, tried learning 3D modeling last year, but yeah. It is. It's very complex, which is kind of where my story was kind of getting around to. So I wore a lot of hats. I could do a lot of everything because that's what was called of me: model, texture, rig, animate. But when those next gen at that time those were the next gen consoles, the PlayStation 3 and the 360. Things became more specialized. You started using normal maps and ZBrush to sculpt. And the career path could have went one of two ways. It could have been a modeler and sculptor. It could have been an animator, and I just happened to fall on the animation path. Some 3D guns, yeah, that's cool. There are guys in the industry who only do weapons. There are guys in the industry, guys and gals, who only do vehicles or characters or you name it. That's what they specialize at. All right, so I got pectoral muscle in there. What's next? Abdominal. Abdominable. Abdominal. I wonder if his chest is too small. Gonna have to push it back there and look at it from an angle. I forgot what you learned. Yeah, there's an old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Gets to practice. I think I don't have enough chest muscle on this guy. Let's see, if I was to draw him, so I'm trying to think in my head, if I was to draw this guy, how would I draw him? See, I'd sketch. Maybe muscle here, sternum. Maybe a little bit lower. He did some push-ups, yeah. With one arm. Did you ever see the video of the guy who challenged the actor who plays Gaston at Disney World to to do push-ups? Like, it was a push-up competition. And of course Disney hires these. I mean, they don't just hire anybody to play those characters. It's pretty rigorous to be. Oh yeah, he saw that. Yeah, the guy plays Gaston. I was like doing one-handed push-ups. He's like, "Come on, you can do it." Just totally stayed in character the whole time. Oh, that was good. Good times. Yeah, we're taking our kid to Disney this summer. It'll be his first time to go, and should be exciting. I'm trying to remember how old I was when I went to Disney World. Yeah, that's looking better. I think I'm glad I added a little bit more mass down here. So I was reading the story on, clickbait on Facebook about these people who worked at Disney, these cast, I believe they call them cast members, and they were telling their crazy stories that they remember from working there back in the day or whatever. And one of the guys was saying he worked at it's not there anymore. Oh, anyways, it was a play area with little kids, right? And they had codes that are associated with Disney characters for things like Baloo means blood. Like, yeah, we got a Baloo in wherever, this section of the play area, and it informs them in a clever way to go, hey, there's a situation that we got to go take care of it. Baloo is blood. I'm sure there's names for other things. So he was there, and he walked around the corner one day and he saw this little kid who probably couldn't have been more than like 2 or 3 years old taking a huge dump in the middle of the play area. And when the kid looked up and saw him, immediately ran off crying with no pants on. And he said that he hadn't learned whatever the code was for human feces. So he called in, we have a poo in the play area and piglets on the loose. So I thought that was hysterical. Good times. I worked at Six Flags in high school and in college. Put myself through college working there, doing characters. But in high school, I worked for the theme park doing selling ice cream, and that was it was fun and it was amazing and I loved it. And there was there was a movie, I think it was called Super Fun Land. Oh my god, that movie is, although it's kind of a parody and romantic comedy, teen romantic comedy or whatever. Man, it's so many things that are in that movie I remember from work in Six Flags. And they say that people who work at a theme park, whether it be Disney or Six Flags or something, some big theme park, they think back on it more like when kids think back at summer camp rather than high school job at McDonald's or or what have you, or the mall. And it's true. It's like, man, I had such good times when I was a kid working at Six Flags. I think what I liked about it, part of it was I wasn't around high school kids that I went to school with, because I actually drove from where I lived like 45 minutes to work at Six Flags. And so I had this whole other group of friends, and it's like I got to be a completely different person there than when I was in high school. And it was really nice. Really enjoyed it. All right, so there's a muscle in the armpit. I gotta put a muscle in the armpit. But yeah, there was a lot of stories. I remember one time I was working. I worked at Six Flags over Texas, which is in Arlington, and I was working at the exit of the Texas Giant, and I'm just standing there, just selling. I worked ice cream cart, so I was selling ice cream, and all of a sudden this guy runs past me. Then all of a sudden two supervisors run past me. I was like, I turned to the person I was working with. I was like, "What was that all about?" I'm like, I don't know. And when they came back, I was like, "Hey, what happened?" I was just running by there. The guy goes, "Yeah, the guy that we went after decided to just pee right there. Like he got off the ride, walked there, and just peed in the bushes." right where you're standing there waiting to pick the picture, that they take when you're on the roller coaster to see what you. Right there, everybody's like standing there waiting to see what they look like on the roller coaster. All of a sudden, this guy decides to pee in the bushes right there. The funny thing is, not 50 feet next to me is a restroom that guy could have gone to. Oh Lord. Good times. Oh, I got a ton of stories. So I worked ice cream carts, and ice cream carts were responsible for like the drink vending carts and stuff. And I graduated from cart worker to was he drunk? I could have been drunk. I don't know. I graduated from working the carts to being a break relief, working a swing shift, and which I loved because then I got to go all over the park throughout the day. And then they promoted me again to stalker, so I got to stock the carts, and that was a lot of fun. So they had a freezer in the back that they would keep all the lemon chills and cherry chills, and this is a big I mean, this is a huge. You drive a forklift in there with pallets of cherry chill and ice cream and what have you. So it's a huge freezer. Well, you can't let the door shut on those freezers, because when you shut a freezer, it creates a vacuum and you can't get the door open. So one time I was there working, and the door shut, wind blew it or something, and I was like shut in there for like 10 minutes in this freezer. Like, it was so cold. I mean, it felt good because it's probably like 100 degrees outside at the time. It was in the middle of the summer, but that was funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So behind the queue line of the Texas Giant, we had so throughout the park, they have small freezers, kind of like the freezers that you get ice out of when you go to a convenience store. And they stock it with ice cream, like cherry chills and lemon chills and other various ice creams and stuff. So usually they'll have two couple of them. One is like dedicated to lemon chills and cherry chills, and one is dedicated to ice creams and juices and stuff like that. So I was asked, because I was a stalker, to go and clean out all the count all the spoilage and clean out the freezer, because it needed to be cleaned out behind the Texas Giant. Another Texas Giant story. And so they're like, hey, take Elliot with you. Elliot is a friend of mine. And so Elliot and I went and to go clean out this freezer. And as we're cleaning it out, Elliot's like, we're just gonna throw this stuff away, right? I'm like, yeah, we're supposed to count it and throw it away. And that's what we do. That's how we figure out, you know, things. And he goes, you want to eat some? I'm like, no. I'm sure it's fine. It's like, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just, you know, just a little soft, melty. I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'm good. And so I'm cleaning him. I've got my back to him, and all I see is, if I can do this, all I see is this, and I'm like, dude, what you doing? And he all I see is this, and he's got a cherry chill in his hand and a spoon, and he's like shoveling it into his mouth. And he's got red all around his mouth. Like, what are you doing? You can't. You're gonna get yourself caught, man. You can't do that because you get yourself fired. Oh man, we're still good friends to this day. Oh man. Oh man. Oh Lord. Yep. So under there's a big Ferris wheel as you walk into the front of that park, and under the Ferris wheel, it's a very secure location. It's where you go to get money. Where when, like, if you gotta go work a cart, you have to go there and check out money. They give you a till of money, and it's you have to buzz to get in. You know, everybody's behind thick glass and whatever. And it's very secure location. Millions and millions of dollars go through this in particular location, that park, every day, millions of dollars. So I stress this out because one day an animal died somewhere in one of the vents, a rat or mouse or something, possum, and oh my God, it stank so bad in there. They couldn't open a door to air it out. They weren't allowed. We'd walk in to go check out money, and it's like, oh my God, I couldn't do it. It's like, you walk in, you like hold your breath, like try not to breathe through your nose, get your money as quickly as you can and leave. And I feel so bad for the people working there because they'd be like suffering. Oh, good times. We look back now and we laugh. That's the thing about working these places, is you look back and you be like, those were good times. Really good times. In fact, I think I have more friends, well, Facebook friends, from working that theme park than I do from high school. And I also saw some really horrific things while I was there as well. I remember one time I was working this one location, and it's early in the morning. Our park had just opened up. You mean the ones that are like down here in my sketchbook? If you're looking at the little sketchbook underneath this camera, yeah, like that one right there. Yeah, those are mine. Those are my anatomy studies for illustrating. We're talking about these books. No, I bought those books. But I learned the stuff that I did down here, like that right there, based off of everything that I learned in this book right there. But yeah, like I was saying, I did see some truly horrific things when I was, well, I should say truly. It's not like I actually saw anybody decapitated or anything like that. But I remember one day I was working, and it was early, and the park had just opened up, and there was a mom and her daughter who had to have been 15, 16 years old, and son. And I don't know what that kid did, but oh my God. She laid into her. She grabbed her. The mom grabbed the daughter by the arm and started beating her ass. And then she pulled out a belt and just started whipping. And she didn't stop. It's not like whack, straighten up, or whatever the kid was doing. I didn't see what the kid was doing, but literally like whipped the kid. And the kid was like, and they moved around my booth and out over by the runaway mine train and back around the whole time, just whack, 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 to the point where everybody in the park had stopped. And there's not a lot of people, but everybody had stopped and literally was staring at the situation. Yeah, right. I got on the phone immediately and called security. It's like, you got to come down here. This is what's going on. And they came down and they removed the family from the. I don't know what happened after that, but man, I don't know. Oh God, I feel so bad. I can't imagine what that house is like. That household is like. And then also there are a lot of stray animals in the park, believe it or not. And somebody had snagged one of the cats and made a makeshift parachute and went to the top of the big orange observatory tower, even though it was closed. They snuck up, got to the top, and threw the cat off with their makeshift trash bag parachute. And the security guards who were telling me the story said that they saw it, something coming off the tower, and when they realized it was a cat, the cat was like, its legs were like out like this, just like with the little parachute. They're like underneath it to try to catch the cat. And one of the security guys, he like got underneath it and was able to like catch it, but the cat went right down his face like claws, hit the ground and ran off. Survived. But yeah, they went after whoever that was. Yeah, right. Some people. Yeah, not everything's a funny public urination story. But yeah. All right, so I got my armpit in there. There's my armpit. Got that muscle. Let's see here. You got some muscles to put in there. You got your lats, which come down the side, which I haven't put in yet. And you got all this muscle right in here. I think I need to put this muscle in first. Yeah, seems about right. I wonder if my rib cage is a little off as far as shape wise. Oh, Lord. This is far more difficult. This is much more of a challenge than I thought it was going to be when I first set out to do this study. Oh man, so I think there's a muscle here. I think maybe I'll just put little dollops of clay, figure out where these go. So I work my way down. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll just lay it out. So you got a little thing right here. Actually probably it'd be stretched. Yeah, it's a really good reference. It's called Strength Training Anatomy. Where is it? Yeah, that book. Strength Training. If you go down below, I have a shop that has this book there. If you click on that link, it will take you to the Amazon page where you can buy it. if you buy through that link, it actually helps this channel out. But it is really good reference for anybody interested in this, illustrating or sculpting or working out. It's great because it tells you what muscles are being used as you do the exercise, right? It says if I'm lifting up like this, it's like this is the muscle group that's working, this is what's flexing, and it adds to whatever you happen to be doing. So you got muscle there, you got one here. It is 11:25. I think I'm gonna keep this up for another 5 minutes or so before I call it a night, because I have to get up in the morning and make a video game, because that is what I do for a living. So we got, how many muscles we got there? You got one, 2, 3, 4. It comes down to the side. 1, 2, 3. And 4. 12:25 there, huh? I take it you're what, East Coast? I was looking up the time schedule for Game of Thrones because I was like, oh man, what time does it start? Because I think it starts when my stream starts. Oh, Quebec, Canada. Oh, very cool. Yeah. Worked with a studio up there called Behavior. I taught their animators how to do motion editing and work in Motionbuilder. Well, I am super happy to have you here checking this out. Gives me somebody to talk to, so I'm not just talking to myself. You got another muscle that's here. It's probably too big. Yeah, Ubisoft is up there as well. They had a headhunter from them call me up one time, or actually several times, going, "Hey, you wanna work for us?" I'm just like, I wish I could, but I can't. I got a kid, and if I move away from Austin, Texas, I lose custody. I lose my custody. So I gotta stay here for my kid. I think this is too big. That's okay. This is kind of fun, putting in these little muscles. So you got 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, and then here comes number 3. So I do this tutorials, Motionbuilder tutorials on Wednesdays, and I talk about how I do game animations. And one of the last weeks, if you ever go back, you can watch the video. I have a picture of one of the guys who's an actor at House of Moves, and he went and he worked on Splinter Cell. He did all the mocap for Sam Fisher. So he went up to Quebec and worked at Ubisoft. Ah, thank you for the follow. Like that? You like that little GIF? I think that's the first time I've seen it work. I made those yesterday. Those animated GIFs. I was like trying to figure out how to be unique, and I've been dying to see them work. So thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to be an associate or affiliate with Twitch, and it'll open up a lot of new things like new emote icons and all sorts of fun stuff for you all. I'm going to be able to start doing prizes and contests and all sorts of fun stuff. Oh yeah, so yeah, I love Splinter Cell. I played from the very first Splinter Cell. So I went to the store and I was like, I'm going to buy a video game. And I had a lot of money at the time because I was a kid and I just got into the industry and I didn't have any bills. At that time, I was like, oh, I got all this. I'm going to go buy 2 video games. So my choices were Splinter Cell and Hitman. And I started playing Hitman because, man, I thought that was going to be so much fun. And then I switched over to, I was kind of getting bored with it. It just wasn't very much fun when I actually started playing it. So I switched over to Splinter Cell, and oh my god, I had so much fun with the original Splinter Cell. So much fun. I love the story. I love the gameplay. So much fun. Loved it. All right, so what do we got here? So got those muscles coming in this way, and we got these muscles coming in this way. And this is where we're putting in the, yeah, that's it. Okay, so I get that. So there's a muscle that kind of wraps around your scapula, which is your shoulder blade. And then there's this other muscle, which I'm looking at in the book, which kind of ties up here. These are your wings, which help you do pull-ups. And that comes down and ties into right there. Oh, Time Splitters. Sounds really familiar. I don't know if I played that. Favorite game on PS2, yeah. Oh my goodness. PlayStation 2. So, I have to think about that. What was my favorite game on the PS2? I didn't really have a lot of games on the PS2. I was kind of a poor college student at that time. But yeah. I can't think of a game that I played at that time. So long ago. I like the original Tomb Raiders. I always like those games. Those like puzzle solving, exploring type games. Those were always fun. Halo, I was a big Halo. That's not the PlayStation, that's Xbox, but I was a huge Halo fan back in the day. Oh, well, I got a text. Erg. There we go. Let's see. How did I do? I want groceries every 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. I'd say 6 and 7. There we go. Today we got so busy. We're like, no time to do grocery shopping. Oh man. I don't know, at some point I became a PC gamer and less of a console gamer. And just how the direction I seem to go in. So some of my favorite PC games of all time, the original Rage, one of my all-time favorites. Prey, Wait, did I say Rage? All-time favorites? My brain's shutting down because it's late. Prey. Prey is one of my all-time favorites. Rage was okay. Prey is one of my all-time favorites of all time. That was one of the few games I played over and over and over again. That was done by a company called HumanEd. They are in Wisconsin. And I know a couple of guys that work there. And I worked at 3D Realms, who initially started the development on Prey. I wasn't around at that time working there, but I got to meet or got to know some of the guys over at HumanHead a little bit. And it's a really good group of guys. Whoa, camera! Knock the camera down. Arr. I need a better camera setup. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, really good group of guys. They also have Raven. Raven's over there. Yeah, playing Insurgency. That's cool. I'm working on a PC game right now, my daytime job, called Star Citizen. And Robert Space Industries, all that kind of stuff. So if you ever look up, our company is very front facing, so you can watch the entire development as it happens and see the whole process, which is kind of a unique thing in the game industry, being able to see all that. I think I'm going to finish out this muscle a little bit here, then I might call it a night. Just because I got to get up at 6 a.m., get a kid to school. Lady Clays, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I'm excited. Oh man, that's great. It's great that you're following, and it's great that my little GIF works that I create. I was up so late last night trying to get that to work. Thank you very much. Oh man, in case I gotta stretch my back. I just realized how long I was hunched over. Oh yeah, for those of you who may just be joining me, what I'm doing here is I'm doing an anatomy study where I'm going to do half of this character is going to be muscle. I'm going to try to get it anatomically correct. The other half is skeleton, and I think I got it anatomically correct. You can see some of my stuff down here, like when I do my illustrations, some of my anatomy studies there. So that's what I'm doing. And thank you for the follow. That is so cool. Means a lot to me. All right, so this lat comes in, and this lat kind of actually comes down and connects like that. And all of us are going to go on this anatomy sculpture together. Lady Clays, do you do sculpture in clay? Is that where your name comes from? Well, thank you. You can actually buy some. They're like super expensive, but they're like $200 or $300, and you get these really nice anatomical sculptures that are like yay big, like really nice. They also have, if you like something to work off of, they have. Maybe I should include those. they have some of these maquettes that are articulate, and you have little hands that you can switch out, and they're really, really good for like posing and figuring things out. In fact, I keep telling myself I should get myself some of those because those are really nice. I also know some illustrators and sculptors who, believe it or not, use Poser of all packages to quickly, because you know they're not animators, but they just need some quick poses to reference from. Not all of us are rich and can hire a model to come in and pose how we want them to pose. Let's see if I can. You make cute things. Oh. Cute things are awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. Love cute things. My kid loves cute things. Well, my philosophy is no matter what you do, whether you're doing something cute or something realistic, especially if you're doing something realistic, but even cute things, I believe you need to have a grounding in I don't use the word reality. You want to have a grounding in anatomy and know kind of how things work, because that carries over. And when you can carry that over to your things that are a little more abstract, it makes it, in my opinion, that much better and that much stronger. So I am very much an advocate for learning traditionally learning. So how do these attach? These muscles kind of attach to the ribs, don't they? And so everybody here on this channel is going on an anatomy journey with me as I figure this out. And I have learned all sorts of fun, interesting things that I did not know about how muscles and bones work together. So I kind of already covered it up, but apparently there are muscles that hook onto the back of the leg, back here, and they come up and around and they hook onto the front of the pelvis up here. So when the muscles flex, it takes this bone, or the femur, and it'll rotate it out like that. And that's the muscles that are flexing to get your knee to kind of like point outwards like that. That's what you're trying to learn and get better at. Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad you stopped on in and checked this out. And if you are interested, just so you know, this book that I'm using here, it's a strength training anatomy book. Here it is. I have a shop below that will take you to an Amazon page. If you go there, you can click on that link and go buy yourself this book and like these tools. These are wax working tools. Also got this nice soft rubber tipped tools that are like little fingers, getting all the little nooks and crannies. And if you buy from those links, it actually helps support me and this page. I am using Super Sculpey. Here is it. I call it my mix because I actually took Super Sculpey Firm, which is a very hard Super Sculpey, and I took Super Sculpey Medium, which is a very soft clay, and I kind of started mixing them together to a consistency that I really like. So it's not too hard, it's not too soft. In fact, this is kind of what I thought medium was going to be like. I was actually surprised when it came out as soft. Normally I work in, or before I've worked in Super Sculpey, which is the beige. So here's another little, one of my super early anatomy sculptures studies that I did. Kind of figure this out. I never baked this one. This one has fallen on her ear. She's kind of, she's kind of turned into Sloth from the Goonies. But you know, just little super sculpey type anatomy stuff. His head fell off. My kid claims it wasn't him that ripped the head off. I'm like, there's no way the head's gonna fall off on its own. Sorry. You're played with it, you ripped the head off. So yeah, here's one of my early anatomy studies before I did one of my sculptures. I should bring out one of my sculptures sometime. Maybe next Sunday. So I do this every Sunday from about 8:30 to 11:30. Although I'm kind of running over tonight. I do sculpting on Twitch. So yeah. So I'm working here doing some sculpture, and my kid's next to me, and I hear this thud. I look over and I see the head laying next to the body. I'm like, what'd you do? Dang it. Well, it's okay. It can be fixed. I'm not mad that you played with it and fell off. What I'm mad about, kid, is saying that you didn't do it. You don't lie to me. That's just don't lie, right? It's okay if you make a mistake and you mess up. It's just don't lie. So, anywho. So, for those of you who are new, my schedule is Wednesdays I do animation, 3D animation video games. You can watch my videos. Click up there and see some of the videos if it interests you. It's kind of a niche thing, right? Not for everybody. So a handful of people who are interested. And then on Wednesdays, I sculpt, and I'm also thinking about adding illustrating. Like I want to maybe start illustrating like what you see in my, where is it? Right there. My sketchbook. I'm new to Twitch, so this is a learning experience for me. All right. So obviously these muscles are not done. They need to be worked. I need to figure out how these muscles fit with this muscle here. I guess they tuck down in behind it. I might have too much material here, but I'll find out more as I work the clay. Excuse me. Allergies make me cough. I need a cough button so I can hold it down so I don't cough into the mic. Don't want to cough into the mic. Alright, but yeah, I gotta work these out. This might be too much clay here. So when you sculpt, you're adding and subtracting, right? You're adding clay where you need it, you're subtracting where you don't need it. If you don't, then you're just pushing clay around. You're just pushing that material from one area to another, and you end up just pushing it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, you just have to cut it out. Or if something's not working, like there's a gap, like behind the knees here, there's a big gap. All right, dude, catch you later. Glad you stopped by. Maybe I'll see you next week. But yeah, got to fill in the gaps. So that means you got to add more material. And I think I have to split as well because I am absolutely exhausted and I have to go make a video game tomorrow because that's what I do for a living. Let's turn this guy around, pull back. see kind of where we're at. One of the things I like to do with anything that I work on is I like to pull back and look at a distance. Sometimes I like to get up and I like to walk away and take my eyes off of it and do something else. Go for a walk or something, and you come back and then look, and it's like you see things that you missed or something you didn't quite get right. Like I'll probably come back later and be like, maybe this chest, maybe the pectoral muscle is not all that good. I need to come back and redo it. Or maybe that lat isn't fitting there just quite right. Or maybe these muscles aren't laying how they should be. I still have to put in the obliques on the side. But anyway, I have to go, and let me see, I gotta go here. And so anyway, I want to thank you all for stopping in and checking this out, and I had a really good time sculpting with you guys, and I have to say I'm actually really surprised as many people showed up as they did today with Game of Thrones airing. 'Cause, now I know how all the other networks feel whenever a big TV show comes on the air. They're like, oh no, everybody's gonna go watch that instead of our show. All right, I will catch you all next time, and come back Wednesday, and I'll have my animation tutorials going. And I will see you all next time. You all have a good night.